Now I'd like to introduce the next panel, which is going to be a look at NFTs from sports to everybody, which includes some very tall people, and is being moderated by Matt Roszak, who's the chairman and co-founder of Bloq, and also the chairman of the board of the Chamber of Digital Commerce. So welcome to the next panel.
To sit in the middle.
You do.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to do some intros here. Again, I'm Matt Roszak, chairman of the Chamber, and I'm also co-founder of Bloq. We're a blockchain technology company that does infrastructure and applications in Web3. And we have a cool conversation here about the intersection of digital collectible NFTs and sports. And I'm really excited to have Channing Frye, an NBA superstar, and Alison Kutler, a NFT superstar. But let me give some background here. So Channing is a current NBA analyst and former NBA player, drafted by the New York Knicks in 2005, and subsequently played for the Portland Trail Blazers, Phoenix Suns, Orlando Magic, Cleveland Cavaliers. I want to know what your favorite city was.
Yeah, Cleveland, for sure.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Lakers during his career at the NBA. He won an NBA championship with Cleveland in 2016. Amazing.
Yeah.
Also hosted Talking Blazers podcast and worked as a studio analyst for NBA TV and the NBA on TNT. And you're a wine entrepreneur. I don't know how we're going to segue into that. And the founder of Chosen Family Wines.
Ooh,
so
sound
awesome.
busy.
That's I like that. A lot to unpack there. Alison, again, NFT superstar, is head of government affairs for Dapper Labs. She brings more than 25 years experience in government and private sector to the role, including developing leading business regulatory policy, public affairs strategies, at companies including Visa, Rio Tinto, and serving as chief of the Consumer and Government Affairs Bureau and a special advisor to the FCC chairman. And what I love about the maturity of crypto is you see professionals starting to come in, meaning that Dapper Labs is now hiring a professional like Alison that just shows the maturity, the duty of care, and being very thoughtful about what's around the corner as these digital tokens, NFTs, and all these different primitives start to evolve. So it's what you're seeing is an evolution of that in professionals. So let's get into it. Alison, your CEO, Roham, is one of my favorite entrepreneurs in the space. I'll just put that out there. But tell us a little bit more about Dapper Labs. We've all heard of NBA Top Shot and some of the early things you guys have done in the NFT space, which was foundational. But give us the backstory.
Sure. So as everyone here knows, blockchain technology is decentralizing and democratizing the web, allowing creators to retain control over their content rather than transfer it to others for the benefits. At Dapper, we believe that blockchain and Web3 technology should be accessible to everyone, and that is truly our mission, not just the early adopters. And as with past innovations like the internet and smartphones, games and other fun applications are an important way that people get introduced to new technology. A little bit about the backstory. In 2017, Dapper Labs started with CryptoKitties, which was sort of the first widely successful digital collectible NFT. And in 2020, NBA Top Shot, which became the first blockchain product to surpass 1 million users, and we have over $1 billion in transaction value now.
That's amazing. I think you have now over 2 million total now and 1 billion transaction value. That is like material. That's amazing. Yep. And making a real imprint. And so, Channing, now give us your kind of origin story on NFTs. You're a hoopster, an analyst. Yeah. You're gravitating to, one of the more interesting parts of crypto NFTs. So, how'd you get started?
Well, I think first of all, I love basketball. Golly, hold on. I love basketball. There we go. And so, I think for my generation, I just turned 39. We collected basketball cards because we wanted to connect with that player that we saw on TV. And so I have some buddies in the crypto space and NFT space. And when this started to come up, I said, this is ingenious because this is infinite, right? There was a moment almost in every game that, like, whether I was watching that with my son, I go, oh man, that was an amazing moment, right? I have an innate almost hate for Golden State at times, but I cried when Klay Thompson came back and had that dunk against Cleveland because I understand how long it is. 2 years of I played 13 years. 2 years of a 13-year career is a lot. For him to come back from these injuries in that moment just shows his determination to come back to the game and come back at a high level. And what Top Shot does is it creates that way. We could talk to players through Twitter or Instagram or social media. Here's another way to support that player and to support that moment and to keep that forever. When I take my son or my daughters to a game, in Portland, they go, oh man, look at Damian Lillard hit that shot at the end. And I go, okay, where can I find that at? How do I put that up? Because then that's uniquely our memory that we can always have together.
Yeah, and like thinking back on the baseball cards or those cards you used to collect, you have like one little tear in that, and that's either a 3 or a 10, and it's like, but here it's digital, right?
Yeah.
So it stands the test of time. And other thing I think is kind of cool about NFTs in a spectator fandom ecosystem is that you kind of have a different relationship with them versus like, oh, I've got a million users and a million emails. It's a kind of a different, unevolved relationship. I think as communities evolve around NFTs, I think that relationship on how to share more things with them, interact with them, I think is going to be more exponential from, again, a spectator fandom standpoint. So you talked about how you started with baseball cards, basketball cards. How do other NBA players, other of your contemporaries think about NBA Top Shot and the rest of it? Like, so that's your story. Like, how does your friends and everybody else now they must ask you to be like, hey, give me the 101. What's going on?
They've surpassed me. I think the players now, what their access to and information that they're given, and the fact that the NBA backs us up. And one thing that I'm noticing, and I'm on social media a lot, is when there is a big play in basketball now, everybody on social media goes, that's going to be a Top Shot. You have become the Kleenex for a moment, right? Like Kleenex is a tissue. But nobody says, no, most people don't say, give me a tissue. They'll give me a Kleenex. Top Shot has turned into that memory. When something amazing happens in basketball, from my generation, millennials to Charles Barkley to Magic Johnson. So when I was on the plane over here thinking, to be able to transcend that many generations, even if they don't understand blockchain, they feel a certain pull towards it because they appreciate it and love it and almost are like, how do I learn more? But they're in it because they see how amazing these things are, these memories and people hanging them up or people trading them. They understand that. And so they're like, this is just a new version of what we already fell in love with. If you get Charles and Magic in there, right, it's like, who else do you need? Maybe Channing, but hopefully I get one eventually. Not me sitting on a bench, but we'll go with that. But it's been amazing to see how informed guys are and how passionate they are, right? Especially, I retired 3 years ago, and to talk to some of my friends that are on it who are trading crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And who are like, oh man, I can't wait to get this. I got these packs waiting, before I get home from practice. So the enthusiasm is there, the want for knowledge and the technology is there. And then I think you're starting to see so many guys going out to Silicon Valley, going to California and learning about, not only Web3, but NFTs and blockchain and all this kind of stuff.
And it's like a good gateway kind of technology, great gateway medium to have an NBA Top Shot to give it to somebody and say, if you know nothing about it,
yeah,
I'm going to help you set up a wallet and just give you one of these. And then it's a good way to get the flywheel going.
Without a doubt. You can't build a community of just people who want to be there for the technology. You have an infinite fan base who is constantly growing up with these things, with these memories. It's like, again, I'm going to reference my son who's 11. Yeah. He's just going to know Top Shot before he knows trading cards, right? We don't have trading cards in our house. We have Top Shot, right? It's like, I have a Darius Garland that I'm pretty sure I got pretty early because I saw the potential. But, for him, it's fun. Hey, let's go rip a pack, right?
Yeah.
Let's go do this. Let's get some popcorn and wait for, for us to go do. So, again, it's just creating memories with things that we both love and appreciate and are fans of.
And how have you participated in the Top Shot community? Like, what have you done with Top Shots?
So for me, I collect them. I think for me, I want to learn as much as I can while I'm here and try to understand it, to relate it, and to help not only my son, but his friends who come over who want to watch basketball. Like, oh man, is this moment on there? And I was looking it up, and it's wild that the first 4 most expensive Top Shots are LeBron. And then do you know who the next one is? Fred VanVleet from Toronto. It's amazing, but why is that? Yeah. Why is that? Yeah. Because of his community, because of the people that think that Fred has gone from somebody who was in the G League to now somebody who's won an NBA championship who's going to be a perennial all-star every single year. So there's different ways and barriers of entry for this. Do you want to, buy and sell and trade like a day trader? Do you want to collect, right? And then I was talking to my buddy Doug back there, and I was saying, look at this playoffs. There's no LeBron, there's no KD, there's no Giannis. You're looking at Luka, who's 23 years old. You're looking at Jason Tatum, who's becoming I would say not an all-star, but like a superstar.
He had a good game
You're looking
last
at the
night.
next, he's killing, he's so good. You're looking at the next generation of players that you can start now before they become the LeBrons, right? Imagine if you had an opportunity when LeBron was 18, scoring his first bucket against the Sacramento Kings, and that was, and you had an opportunity to get that moment. So now you have an opportunity to get the next generation of superstars right now and to see it and hold it and be a part of that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Alison, back to you on Dapper's approach to what's interesting is you guys have gone to these sporting communities, you have this technology primitive, and you build these extended communities off of like NBA and La Liga, UFC Strike. How do you kind of think through the content creator piece and then the fans and the collector piece on this?
Yeah, so we are, as I think Channing said, we view ourselves as digital collectibles, so same as the trading cards that we grew up with. So we want to ensure that consumers are protected through the traditional consumer regulatory regime that exists. We also, we believe NFT platforms have an obligation to ensure we're deterring illicit activities, to protect the businesses, to protect the digital assets, and to protect the community and the users from exploitation by criminals. And we've instituted a risk-based comprehensive set of industry best practices for AML KYC controls, and we are committed to setting the industry standard for implementing these protections. We've gone above and beyond. We also have a sanctions compliance program, a consumer information program, which includes KYC and enhanced due diligence, and a transaction monitoring program as well. And finally, just to touch on some of the earlier conversations, the Department of Treasury put out a report on potentially regulating works of art. And there were several risks identified with NFTs, and we would welcome exploring that further and ensuring that the industry is meeting the standards.
Yeah, I mean, much like various parts of this industry, there are lots of parts that are regulated, Bitcoin, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But then there's a lot of nuances that aren't, parts of DeFi, NFTs, et cetera. And what happens is that companies now are self-regulating. They're saying, hey, with instincts and principles, what would I do? How would I structure and go to market? And so a lot of the KYC, AML stuff that you're doing, I don't think anybody said, hey, you have to do this, but out of an abundance of caution, being a thought leader and kind of paving that way, grooving that path for other projects to think through, I think is really important to do. So Channing, tell me about what do you think the future of these digital trading cards are like? Because it's like, I'm thinking kid comes out of college or even these days before college, wants a shoe deal, wants a Gatorade deal. I want a Top Shot deal. You know, it's like, think about it. Like, that's part of the economic discussion now, in a way, right?
Well, first you got to be good. Everybody could ask for a pair of shoes, but you might get some sandals if you're not good. But, you know, for me, I think that's absolutely amazing. Again, think about if you had an opportunity to get a Luka Top Shot from when he was playing overseas, right? So that was his original rookie card when he was 16, right? Not the NBA one. And then each year you're starting to grow and you have this collection. Then you, for me, to be able to have someone who's regulated by what they want and they agree with it, right? And they're saying, hey, these are some of my favorite moments. Can we put that in a package? Here are some of my favorite teammate moments. Can we put this in a package? Then you also think about, we think about Top Shot as in this year, right? Maybe last year. But I was talking back there for 5 minutes about what if you had an opportunity to get the alley-oop between Shaq and Kobe, or Kobe to Shaq. Yeah. Or Charles Barkley when he shot, I'm from Phoenix, so sorry, Phoenix mentions. You know, Charles Barkley shooting it from top of the key to go to the NBA Finals over the San Antonio Spurs, right? What if you had those, what if you live in San Antonio, you had an opportunity to get a top shot from Tim Duncan or Manu Ginobili? Like, it's endless. Because of the 75 years that the NBA's been playing, there are so many moments that are, you know, eventually will be able to be looked at or taken or, you know, being able to be worked with people who may not be used to this technology, but they have amazing moments. Guys like Magic Johnson, like, we may not see all his highlights, but now some kid who's 10 who doesn't know Magic Johnson goes, oh, look at this guy, a 6'9" point guard? Is he LeBron? No, is LeBron before LeBron?
Right.
So again, we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg here with NBA Top Shot. I think it is absolutely amazing, and I'm just, again, like I said, I'm really happy to be up here and to be talking about it. I think you can kind of hear my excitement, and it just because where we are and where we're going, I think is evolving exponentially.
And I really think it's a cool primitive to have a NFT with athletes, with artists, musicians, such that, like, if you're a fan and you go early, right? I like this kid that just got drafted or whatever, and then, you know, you have this digital asset that goes up in value because you were an early fan, a participant, and engaged. I think that's a cool thing that these fan communities will have as assets. Outside of, you know, they might even get tokenized. You know, like you know, famously gave Kim Kardashian her first Bitcoin, and I was explaining to her, like, you know, your ecosystem one day will be tokenized. You know, like your fans and participants, and think of all the different either influencers, athletes, musicians, etc. You know, going in early, you get rewarded for that. You know, and you kind of should. You know, I knew this guy before he was a guy, or this girl, you know, musician before you know they blew up, and it's like. I think it's going to create interesting communities and tribes around artists, athletes, creators that we don't really see right now, but you're starting to see the early sparks of that.
Without a doubt. I think you look at a guy like Zion Williamson, who's been famous since junior high. So people have been following him. They didn't care what team he goes to, right? He went to Pelicans, the Knicks, the Raptors. They were like, I've been watching this guy dunk on people since he was 14 years old, and now I'm part of that community. So whether he does trade teams, they're still part of the Zion community, which shows as a player means a lot. Do you love me? Are you a fan because I'm on the Celtics? Yeah. Well, then you love the Celtics. Or are you a fan of Channing? Do you know me? I want people to know me and to support me, and not only basketball, but the other endeavors that I do as a human. So I think this gives them that opportunity to connect with their fans, to grow their community, and it helps the NBA as a whole because if somebody, for instance, if somebody has to buy a Pelicans jersey and then they goes to the Heat, well, he's like, well, I got to buy a Heat jersey now. Yeah. And so it just helps the whole ecosystem from junior high to high school to the NBA. It just, again, it's just a connector with the players to the fans.
I really like that because it's like it's individualizing that athlete versus saying, oh, it's just a Pelicans guy or a Lakers guy. This is the guy.
This is the guy. Yeah.
Oh, on that note, thank you all for joining me here today. Channing, Alison, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.